You step up to the threshold and feel the hush before you enter, not emptiness, but attention waiting to be honored. The dojo was already waiting. No voices, no movement, only the faint hum of still air resting against wood and stone. The sliding door moves with a soft resistance, an old polite mechanism that makes ceremony of small things. It opens slowly. You step inside. There's a tiny ritual in the way your bare feet meet the tatami. Cloth shifts gently with each step, sleeves whispering against your forearms, the gi sighing in cotton and seam. The door closes behind you and the world outside. Traffic, sunlight, obligations condenses into a memory and fades. The dojo becomes the only present place. For a moment, nothing happens. No rush, no urgency, just breath. Slow, measured, controlled. You reach for your belt. The fingers know the knot before thought arrives. They tighten with quiet precision. The gi responds with a muted friction, cotton fibers sliding under tension, a tiny chorus of fabric that says, "I am ready." You adjust a sleeve. You roll your shoulders back until your spine finds a straight line. Posture aligns, not rigidly, but with intent, as if the body remembers an old promise. Every sound is small here, and in the stillness, every sound matters. You step forward. One foot glides across the mat, then the other. Weight shifts as if governed by a pendulum, balanced, centered, effortless. The air moves as your arms trace slow arcs through space. Blocks appear without aggression, dissolving back into readiness. Strikes come not with anger, but with intention. The gi breathes with each motion. Soft snaps, subtle folds, barely audible tension. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is hurried. There is only control. The kata unfolds like a ritual older than memory. Movements flow seamlessly, each one a link in a chain that wants no break. It's as if some deeper part of you maps the sequence before conscious thought has time to question it. The room stays quiet, except for breath and cloth. The gentle slide of feet, the faint displacement of hair, calm, precise, unbroken. Then rhythm. Down the center of the room, a padded target waits in the half-light. It stands motionless, patient, unassuming. You approach without sound. There is no dramatic flourish, no show of power. There is stillness before motion, a short, sacred stillness that lets the body and mind align. A hand extends. The strike lands. Soft, muted, textured. It's not loud, it's not violent, it's a contact that's meant to be absorbed, impact folded into padding, a deep, satisfying hush. Breath synchronizes with movement. The body calls and the body answers. Each motion carries a quiet authority. Each contact dissolves back into silence. Strike, pause, breath, strike. The dojo listens. Air trembles with contained force. Never chaotic, never uncontrolled. Cloth shifts, muscles engage, then relax. The rhythm holds steady, hypnotic, almost soothing. Power without noise, intensity without aggression. Finally, stillness again. You stop. No dramatic flourish, no transitional flourish, just a quiet return, like a tide drawing back. Hands slowly unclench and release the shape they made. Breath softens to the faintest rise and fall. The gig settles, and the room reclaims its quiet authority. Even the air feels heavier, as though the space itself recognizes the discipline it has witnessed. Nothing more is required. No victory, no defeat, only presence. You bow, a slow, deliberate gesture. It is respect offered to the empty room, to unseen tradition, to something intangible, yet deeply understood. The feet turn, your steps retreat, soft, weightless, fading. The door slides open once more. Outside, cold air brushes briefly against this small pocket of stillness. Then it closes. The dojo returns to silence as though no one had ever been there. If you watch this scene unfold, you might think it's all about technique. You'd be right, and you'd be wrong. There's a visible grammar here: stance, movement, timing. But what fills the spaces between those visible marks is the real lesson: attention, discipline, the art of being deliberate with the body and the mind at the same time. Think about the sounds you noticed: the hushed shift of fabric, the soft thud of padded impact, breath in and out like a metronome. None of that is incidental. Each faint noise is a signpost. When the furniture of the world, the loud, urgent signals, falls away, the smaller things speak louder. You learn to listen. You learn to move, because listening tells you where to place your weight, how to shape your breath, when to let force go, and when to hold. There's a kind of humility in this practice. Motion is never about proving strength. It's about sculpting intention. You learn restraint. You learn how to carry power without making a scene. That's what makes the strikes so quiet and the pauses so meaningful. It's not that force has diminished. It has been refined. The training teaches you to inhabit a moment fully. Think of it like a conversation with gravity and balance. You ask the world a question with your weight shift. The mat answers. You present a limb. The target receives it. There is no waste in these exchanges. Each movement is designed to accomplish something clear and efficient, to occupy space, to redirect energy, to end where you need to be next. The ritualized repetition builds muscle memory. Yes, but it also builds a habit of attention, a habit you can carry beyond the tatami. It's easy to romanticize the quiet dojo, the noble solitude, the disciplined body, the ancient tradition. But part of what makes this real is how ordinary it can be. You come in with whatever you brought from outside: a rough day, noise in your head, a list of tasks. The practice doesn't erase those things. It simply gives you a structured space to witness them, to let them surface and settle. Movement becomes a way to reorder the clutter, to breathe through complexity, to straighten what's tangled. And the lessons are not confined to the mat. After a session like this, you stand in line at the grocery store and notice your posture. You sit at your desk and feel where your spine wants to be. You walk down the street and find your steps steadier, quieter. The discipline travels with you because it's not just about action, it's about attention. That attention throttles the impulse to overreact. It teaches patience, how to wait, how to prepare, how to choose a response over a reaction. There's also a paradox here. The more you refine control, the freer your movement becomes. When you can hold a strike in temperance, when you can bring your whole body into a motion without theatrics, you unlock an economy of effort that looks almost like effortlessness. It's the same with focus. The more anchored you are in your center, the more room you have to adapt. The practice isn't a straitjacket. It's a framework that makes improvisation meaningful. Another quiet truth: ritual matters because it marks transition. Sliding the door, touching the tatami, tying the belt, bowing, each small act declares, "Here I am present." Those actions organize attention. They're like a sequence of on-ramps that lead you into the moment. You don't decide to be ready when you're halfway. You prime your whole system beforehand. The ritual is a soft recalibration. Now, if you're thinking about trying this, you don't need a dramatic commitment. Start with presence. Notice the tiny sounds. Pay attention to breath, long enough to anchor you, short enough to keep you engaged. Move slowly at first, and deliberately. Explore how your weight shifts when you step. Listen to the fabric of your gi. Feel how the silence changes when you make contact with the mat or a target. Practice that pause, the little stillness between strike and follow through. That pause is where decisions are made, where direction changes. It's where power becomes purposeful. In the beginning, you'll be tempted to make everything grand, louder breaths, bigger strikes, faster repetitions. That's normal. muscle learns through demand. But the deeper gains come when you pair effort with restraint. Train your strength into shape. Teach your speed to be precise. Let your body learn the vocabulary of movement, and your mind learn its grammar. At the end of every session, you bow not to impress anyone, but to close the circle of focus you have drawn. You accept the silence that returns. You let the room, which welcomed you, listened, and then released you, hold what you practiced. The door closes. The outside world returns. You step back into it a bit quieter, a bit more centered. That is the quiet power of this place. It doesn't make you invincible, but it makes you steadier. It doesn't promise drama, but it delivers presence. And sometimes presence is the most powerful thing you can bring to any moment. So, the next time you find yourself at a threshold, literal or figurative, notice the hush waiting on the other side. Step in slowly. Let the small sounds be your teachers. Breathe. Move with intention. Respect the silence. When you leave, carry that calm with you. The dojo will still be waiting for the next time you need to practice listening, and the space between strikes will be patiently waiting to show you what matters.